Hello, everyone. Or I should say, no one. We're on early today. I told you on Friday we were coming on early today. Um, don't have a whole lot, but I'm going to say the pledge and play the music and come back and see what happens. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, first off.
What?
I'm first off.
You're probably the only one on. So they don't have much anyway. I'll be 5 or 10 minutes and I'm off. People say so, you know. Yeah.
If tomorrow things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, where the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. God bless the USA.
It is rolling.
From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, oh, from sea to shining sea. From Detroit down to Houston, New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say, oh, and I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I'd rather stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the
Yes, God bless the USA. Proud to be an American. You know, I want to talk to the kids, but I got a few stories to tell and a little bit of information. And I want to welcome Gary and Janet and Beth. Let's see, Bill is here. Mac is here. There's 19 people here, and I didn't expect very many. Matter of fact, there for a while, I didn't know we was going to have anybody. But guys, I wasn't even going to do a show today. I'm not feeling well, and it kind of bites because I want to watch the Bears tonight. But my head is all stuffed up, plus the fact that I hurt my shoulder and I can't hardly lift it. So this is going to be not a long show because there's not a lot out there, but I do have some things I want to talk about and some things I want to share. But I want to talk to the kids first and Super Jimmy. You know, Ron was saying he seen you posting today about 1040. And I thought, shouldn't you be in school, or are you being homeschooled? And was that your recess? But, I know you're a patriot and I know you believe in this, but get your education while you can. And I mean, I was listening to a man speak the other day. Ron gave me about a 45-minute audio of a guy speaking, really explaining things, and schools will be changing eventually. But Super Jimmy, just do what you can do, but don't neglect your studies. Patriot 11, I know you're probably back in school. All of us are probably back in school by now. I know that Julia, the girl that I write, their school started on September 1st, which was the Monday, Labor Day for us. And she was so happy because she's a counselor at the school, and her best friend who lives with her is a kindergarten teacher. And she said it was so cute to see all these little kids coming in with their backpacks and their smiles on their faces, because at least when they're at school, they feel safe, because according to her, there's an agreement that no schools are ever touched. They can have your conflicts and whatever you want to call it between them two countries, but no school is ever touched. So it's kind of like a sanctuary for these kids, and they know they're safe there. But we got talking, and I'm going to talk about them kids in just a little bit. But she thought it was so cute to see them come in with their backpacks full of books and their lunches, and they take their lunches out, in their little paper sacks, because, they're not rich enough over there to have actually a regular box or something. They have little brown paper bags, and then they hand them to the teachers. The teachers put the names on each one if the parents haven't already done so. And then at lunchtime, she said it was just so amazing, the happiness and joy, because, see, they can play there. They can play there and they can do things. And I brought up the subject to her. I says, Julia, if that's the case, why don't you have school 12 months a year? And she come back to me in the next letter. She said, well, don't you think the kids deserve a break? And I said, they do. You don't have to teach them. Just bring them into the schools 12 months a year and let them play and let them hang out and let them be safe. Kids, imagine living in a world where you don't know what freedom is. And when I play that song, I don't play it for just me and Ron and the 26 people who's on here. I play it for you kids too, because you have to understand you're free. Patriot Karate Kid and Patriot Wyatt Earp, you have a tremendous mom, and she keeps you safe, along with Patriot Princess, our queen, and Hunter, her brother, who's got a birthday coming up. I know Grandma's going to tell me what day so I can sing to you, even if I got to do a special show. But anyway, the freedoms that we all have here, where you can go play softball, you can go fishing and hunting. Patriot Boogs, Boogaloo, Booger, Boogie and Booger, or whatever. John, I'm telling you, I had it down pat once, and now I'm stuck on it. But you know what I'm talking about. I should just say Patriots of 4Bs. John's 4Bs. And it's a lot easier for me because, John's always sending me pictures of the kids. But here lately, I've been getting pictures of John too. What a handsome grandpa. John, we love you with all our heart. Let's see who else we got on. Ron's on. Bill Woods is on. Cindy's on. Good to see you, Cindy. How you feeling? And that. And the kids in that. We have Patriot little Leona and little Leilon, who they don't even realize what things are going through. And then we have, Patriot super gymnasts who I got to spend some time with, and we had a cupcake contest the other day. Now you may think a cupcake contest eating, but her and her little friend, she got to bring over one of her best friends to Patriot 7's birthday party Saturday. And she brought him over, and they kept picking on me. Finally, I walked up to the little friend because Patriot super gymnast Ella was not around. And I took a cupcake and I smashed it into the side of her face. And she thought it was the greatest thing ever. She's telling Ella I'm the greatest grandpa ever because I'm willing to interact with them. When Ella's seen it, she says, Papa, why did you do that? Well, I had half of the cupcake left. And that was it. So I thought, oh no. About 20 minutes later, when I wasn't thinking, I was standing there drinking a little soda pop out of a beer can, because you can't drink a beer out of a beer can. You got to drink soda pop. And I'm drinking a little soda pop out of the beer can, and all of a sudden they both got me. I mean, I had frosting up and down my face. Well played. I complimented him, and the little girl says, "Oh, can he be my grandpa too?" But then you got. Isn't this an amazing mug? That's my mom and dad. So anyway, then you got Patriot. I already mentioned Patriot 7. Boy, did he have a party. The theme of his party was baseball. It was all about baseball. But they never played baseball. They played football. But the theme was baseball. And my daughter had it set up where she had nachos and cheese. She had a popcorn machine so they could get their popcorn. She had the baseball seeds that the baseball players.
Janet loves your mug.
What?
Janet loves your mug.
Thank you. But anyway, they had all this. Then they had the baseball chewing gum, the things like that. And they had all this stuff like this.
You should have brought me one of them baseball chewing mugs.
And it was pretty amazing. I was going to try to show you some of the pictures if I can find them real quick. I'll share it with you guys. Let's see. Here's the kids that were there. Here's his best friend. They had all that, and then they also had one of those blow-up things that you can play in for them. They had a blast on that, as you can see. Here's the start of the stuff they had: the chewing gum and the seeds. Then the hot dog maker, which is also a place. The top row is pretzels, and then the hot dogs. Then kind of a thing with the gum and everything, the plates and all. The concession stand. Here's his cake. We smashed his face in that. Here's the other cake, a baseball field. One of the cakes, a baseball. And then the last one I'll share I'll share two more. Here's me and him. And it's official. He has a little girlfriend. And here's him and his little girlfriend. And it was a really good party. Could have been better if my daughter didn't get mad at me for smashing the cupcakes, but it is what it is. We had a good time, and that's what really matters. But then Patriots, small Hank, I took him over there to Amber's the other night for Liam's regular birthday before the party, and we're riding over there, and he's talking to me about stuff, and I'm just sitting there, yeah. I had no clue. I said, don't you know any games? Hide and seek? Something like that. I mean, he's talking about stuff that, it's just over my head. And then Patriot little Kira, She was sitting on a couch the other night. Well, she's actually laying it. She was really into her cartoon. And I came out of my bedroom, which is right on the side of the living room. She didn't hear me open the door. I snuck over. I got right on her and went, yeah. I think she come off that couch about that high. And then she wanted me to do it again. Do it again. That's the thing. You can't do something like that unless you commit to doing it with little kids. But, for the kids, that pretty much concludes everything. As I said, just while you're in school right now, enjoy it. I don't like the way things are going with schools because, number one, they're not safe. Number two, the people who run them are not safe. Number three, they don't teach what they need to teach. Kindergarten, yes. Once they start getting up, not so much. And the school that my daughter works at, they have some great young teachers there. Girls and men that are dedicated to these kids. But when they're told what they got to do and how they got to do it. Now, when I went to school for first 6 years of school over here in Buckingham, the little grade school, many teachers taught what they wanted to teach. And, that kind of concludes the kids section today. And remember, kids, this video is not meant for you. You can watch it under the discretion of your parents, legal guardians, or your grandparents. You can watch it as long as you have somebody above age that says it's okay, and they'll accept responsibility if I happen to slip and say something that I shouldn't. The music that we played, I have no legal rights to, and if we do it for entertainment purposes only, and if I start talking about investments, I am not a financial advisor. I'm just one person who has some ideas and some thoughts, and I share them with everyone here. So that being said, as I said, the way schools are run, I'm listening to this gentleman the other day, and we're talking. Oh, he's talking, but he has a lady asking questions about schools. And he says the schools will be changing very soon. But, this is a 45-minute,
71,
70, was it 72? I thought it was, 55, I think. I don't know. Anyway, anybody would like to listen to it, to get me to listen to something for 55 or 70, whatever minutes, it's got to be good. But it's not a guy preaching. He's just answering questions. And I think he could really help a lot of people. We have it on Messenger. Anybody that's on Messenger with us, we can just slip it right over. I probably could figure a way out if you're not on Messenger and it's someplace else. I don't know. Where did you get it at?
Me?
Yeah.
Chosen one.
Huh? He got it off the Chosen One. So maybe I'll see if I can copy it and put it up on our Telegram site, and also wherever else we are, put it on our all over the place. But we're in a situation, guys, where we're close. And how would you like to have $1 for every time someone has said we're close? But the other night I was on the little call with Mary Ann, and me and her was having a really good conversation, and it's like, if you guys have never talked to Mary Ann, she's way above me. I mean, there's levels of intelligence. Me, right here, there's level of intelligence. Mary Ann, she's a very, very smart lady. Very caring lady, and she, even with all she has, never once does she ever say, well, I want it for me. It's always about all of us. And then I also want to talk a little bit about Linda Scullin. Linda has been without water now for 3 or 4 days. So keep her in mind, keep her in prayer, and just think that, but I'm going to tell something here to everybody. And I think everybody should know this. everybody should keep some bottled water. And I know for some of us, that's easier said than done. Because to keep bottled water, you have to have money to buy bottled water. It's much easier to turn on the faucet and get the water. It's much easier. But you can rectify that. Clean out your refrigerator. Keep your milk jugs. Wash them out, really get them clean, and then put water in there. Keep a couple of gallons of water in your refrigerator at all times. That way, if you lose water for 2 or 3 days, you have at least 2 gallons of water to drink over the weekend. Also, keep your milk jugs or other jugs, whatever you have, and fill them with water, because what can happen, like in Linda's case, if she's without water for 3 or 4 days, or I'm going to go to Julia, the girl that I write in Ukraine, twice now in the last month and a half, they've been without water for the whole weekend. And the first time, fortunately, they had just went out and bought 2 cases of bottled water so they could get by, but they really didn't want to take, money is precious in that country. So they really don't want to take money that they spent on water to heat it up to wash themselves off. So they was doing the best that they could. They finally broke down and took a few bottles and did that. And it was funny because the first time it happened, right after they did it, they heated the water up. They had enough where they give a bottle to each person. They heated their water up and they washed up their face and their hands and whatever else they wanted to wash, And I'm not going to go into detail. And they felt cleaner. But it was right after they did that the water came back on. Now, they shut it off for no reason at all. No reason at all. It just happened. So that being said, I told her, I said, hey, do you drink milk? Yes. What do you do with the milk cartons? Are they in plastic jugs? Yes. Fill them with water. Put 2 of them in your refrigerator so you got cold drinking water. Take the other ones that you have. If you want to fill 5 or 6 of them, just imagine if you could take a gallon of water, everybody pour in a little thing, heat it up, pour it in there, wash up. Then the next one can wash up, with clean water. Then the next one, and at least you're going to feel clean. She told me the other day that they have like 6 or 7 gallons of water sitting in a closet out of the way of everything. And they have 3 gallons in the refrigerator. And yet, see, just because a lot of us don't have money to go out and buy bottled water, but that's something you can do to offset it, and that. And here's another thing. If you find out somebody, I don't care if they're 50 miles away, if you find out they're without something like that, get in your car and go get them and to help them. I don't care if you got to fill jugs. I don't care if you don't have the money, just do something to help. It's amazing how when you see people, the other day I was in the store and there was this little old black lady, and she was probably 70, 75. And she had her card, and the lady says it's not taking it. And she said, hold on. So she checks the amount and she said, oh, I thought I had $160 left on it. I only had $130 or $35. So she started figuring out what she couldn't get. And she couldn't get 3 bottles of soda that she wanted to get for her grandkids. So they had something to drink when they was over, a treat. And there was 2 packs of hamburgers, not 2 packs of hot dogs that was on sale for, the big all beef, and yes, she was going a little higher than what she should. She should have just got the cheaper ones. But the whole thing is the cheaper ones, they're crap. And she wanted to treat her family. And then she had 2 packs of the Polish sausage. And everything that she couldn't afford came to like $30. And she got everything. They finished bagging everything and they stepped off to the side. And the counter lady put everything else on the counter next to it. And I walked over and I said, is this hers? Well, she didn't have the money. And I said, well, okay, here. And I put it down there, said, ring this up first. And they rang it up, and I said, ma'am, here's your stuff you didn't get. Oh, we didn't buy that. I said, it doesn't matter. It's yours. Go ahead and take it. You know, I can't really afford a lot of money, but by golly, if you can't afford to help a person every now and then, what do you think about that, Jeff? Do you agree? Jeff Bulter? Are you new? I know Bill Woods would do the same thing. So would Elaine, Jeffrey, and Janet, Ron Cooley. You know, you just got to be considerate to people. So anyway, where are we at? Well, all indications it could happen this week. Does the RV have to happen before the big N and big G? According to this gentleman I was listening to the other night, yes. That's what he said. It has to happen. But I'm reading a thing today that on the 6th, the hat announced that we are in the big N and big G. Now, he was supposed to talk this morning at 8:30. Did anybody hear him? Thank you, Janet. Janet loves my mug. So do I.
I told you she did.
I know, but it just came up where I could see it.
She really like mine then.
Why is that?
It's big.
Well, it's not. It's mom and dad on it that she loves.
Oh.
But anyway, good for you, Elaine. And doesn't it make you feel better? I know it does me. And then as I'm driving home, I'm thinking, well, I don't got no money, don't got no extra money for this week. You know, but, you know, I just, it's such a simple thing to do. And, you know, I'm a firm believer when you do things like that, things happen to you. Because there was a while back, I was over in Essex, and I go every Saturday to a store called Dollar General in Essex. I go there because during the week, whenever you buy something from Dollar General, they'll give you a receipt, and they'll also give you a little slip. It says $5 off coupon on Saturdays if you buy $25 or more. So you can go get $25 worth of merchandise over there, and it only costs $20. And believe me, I have become the expert of getting it for my $20 plus maybe a little bit of tax. It might be $20.20, $20.30. As a matter of fact, I was in there one day, and the guy kept saying, you don't have enough. You don't have enough. And the manager come out and says, what do you mean he doesn't have enough? Well, you know, it's this and this and this. And the manager says, look, first of all, you never question this man when he brings his stuff up here, because he figures everything out in his head, not a computer. And I've never been wrong once. So the lady rings everything up for me the same way the guy did, and it was 35 cents over. And he goes, I don't know what happened. But you got to watch some people, because some people, they'll charge you something. And Dollar General, I like going to that one because they don't do it. But the other ones in our area, they like to overcharge. Oh, I mean, I've caught them so many times that pretty much I'm confined to just go to the one. But it just gives you a sense. But I was in there this one day, and this wasn't a $5 off day, and I'm shopping, and my bill come to $44 and something, and I couldn't get my card to work. Have no idea why. It's my debit card hooked into my bank, and there was enough money in there, more than enough, but I couldn't get my card to work. So the people know me there, and I said, I tell you what I'll do. And they said, what? I says, take my order and just bag it up and lay it there. And they said, okay. I said, I'm going to run to Herscher, which is going to take me about 15 minutes from where I was at, maybe 20. And then I'll run back and I'll pay. And they go, well, we don't know. It was a new person working there, and they didn't know me. And I said, call your manager. I said, never mind, I'll call her. And I got her on the phone, and I told them who it was. And they said, well, what's going on? He said, my card won't work. And she said, we've had trouble with that card. And I said, I know, but I don't have the cash today. I wasn't thinking. I didn't have the cash, but Ron was sitting in a car out in the parking lot. And I knew he had the cash. I wasn't even thinking. I said, I'm going to run to Hersher. I'm going to do this. I know once that I got in a car and told him what I was going to do, he said, well, here's the money, go pay. And then we'll go to Hersher and get the money. That way we don't have to come back. And everything would have been fine. A guy behind me seen what I was doing, seen the sincerity in me, what I was doing. He just took his card out, put it in the thing. Ding, ding, ding. It went through. And I said, well, thank you. Give me your name and phone number, and I'll send you the money. You know, I'll get you the money. And he says, no. He says, just help others. You do the same thing for someone else. That's one of the reasons I do it. I was doing it before, but just helping someone, it makes you feel so good. So anyway, where we're at now, as I said, I believe we could go any day. I do. And for anybody who's followed me, you know, Justin and Janet, Elaine, you know, Bill, Eileen, Tony, you guys know that when I tell you something, I don't tell you because I want to blow smoke up your too. I don't do that. I don't do that. But when I tell you something, I believe it to be true. Is it always true? No. But I will not purposely. If I know something definitely is not real, I'm not going to tell you. But see, there's just too many things starting to line up right now. You know, if you listen to Patriot Princess, you know, she went. Now, Patriot Princess is really, really good. She has a lot of great information. Plus, she looks amazing in a bikini. But that's a story for another day. But anyway, she went to Miami. And she gets along good with a hat. She gets along good with Phil. A lot of people she really gets along good with. She has connection. When she says, my connections say, I believe her. But it was something because she went to Miami. And as she went to Miami and she was there, after she came back, Phil Gogolewski, or whatever his name is, the hat, Kai, his granddaughter, and his son all spoke about Miami. Now, I don't know what's going on there. I think Kai maybe that's the college she's choosing to go through. I don't know. But it's amazing the things that happen. And if you don't belong to her Telegram channel, go join it. Go join it. She has a lot of good stuff. She's very, very good in gematria. And she's someone, she's not going to try to, okay, I got to make sure I word this right. Because see, there's a lot of people out there that they base all of their stuff because they're in direct contact with God. He gives their reports and he talks to them every day. I'm not saying they don't. I'm saying I don't know for sure. Now, if they're saying he shows me things, he gives me signs, yes, I believe in that because I know myself, I get signs. But, you know, as much as I talk to God, as much as I pray to God, and that, you know, if they talk to people, if he talks to people like that, why doesn't one day I get a, hey, Patriot 5, this is God, and you need to do it. No, and I'm not making fun of the people. If they believe it, they believe it. I mean, that one girl believes that she's been in a spaceship and has been with aliens, you know, but yet she's going to be the first one on the bed, and they're gonna film her, and you know what? She knows something. She's got something really big. Oh, exciting news about the beds. And she knows she's got something really huge about.
Yes, you had a video last night with a guy getting out of the bed.
Yeah, she's got video about Ronnie said something, but she's got video about knows information, special, unbelievable information about the beds, the special beds. And she's got special information about the revaluation of the currency. But she's not going to tell us. She's not going to tell us because People are making bad remarks about her because to me, the worst freaking person out there doing shows is the ones that keep telling us they got special information. She's under an NDA, but she keeps talking. The other guy's under an NDA, but they keep talking. They keep talking because they can't shut up. The information they give is no different than anybody else's. And she's saying, well, they're going to video me in the bed. Hey, I got a video right now. I just sent it to Ron yesterday where a guy's in a bed and getting out. And he feels great. And it was only in there for 20 minutes. And I'm thinking, show me proof. And then I still don't know if I believe her. I'm not a fan of her or him, but I know a lot of people are, so I don't disrespect them. But this thing, they're both the masters. I got information. One of my contacts. Well, okay, Tony, you're one of my contacts. Just say something here, Tony, so I can say, well, I got information, but I can't tell you because you're being mean to me. Grow a pair. I got a joke I tell you guys too, but I better not. Anyway, I don't believe everything I read, especially coming from certain people. But one of the things that me and Marianne have been talking a lot about is people doing shows. Now, I've got a couple messages over the last couple of weeks that certain people's been watching our show. They won't tell me who, but they say they give us a thumbs up. We're small, but we're family. We don't exaggerate. We don't lie. We don't charge. And it made me feel good. And it could have been someone just horsing around with me, sending me this stuff. But, I took it with a grain of salt that I'm going to keep doing what I do. Yeah, you got that one right, Cindy. I'll send you, if I think about it, I'll send you that one over that I sent Ron. I mean, it's a pretty good video. It just shows the guy getting out, but boy, the way he feels, and then they explain some things, and it's not quite what I want to see yet, because I want to see the one I want to see.
I want to see a fat man get in there and come out.
Okay, Ron says, I want to see a fat man get in there and come out, and he's skinnier. The one I want to see is a guy like me get in there, and I come out and I look like I'm 29 or 30 years old. Because do you realize how many people would love to be in that? I mean, I run into a gentleman the other day. He was only 69 years old. He looked 90. And he said, I've had a rough life. We all have, buddy. We all have. But it's what you do with your life. People ask me, how come you're always laughing? How come you're always smiling? How come you're always happy? Because it's a lot easier to be happy, smiling, and laughing than it is to sit around like a prune face.
Well, like Russ, he's white hair down.
Yeah, okay. Ron just come up with an explanation. Ron's the oldest of the three brothers. Then there's my brother Russ, and then there's me. Russ looks probably 10 years older than me or Ron because he doesn't believe. He goes to church. He goes to that place that every week they'll pass that plate around. And boy, if you don't put enough in, you get a letter. Hey, we noticed that you only put $20 in. Do you think maybe you could put 30 in next week? That's when I quit going to church, guys. I quit going to church. I was the youngest deacon, Sunday school superintendent in the Methodist. I was the Sunday school superintendent at 16. I raised over $6,000 to get the roof on the church fixed, buy all of the books for 5 years for the Sunday school at 16 years old. And then as I'm going to church every Sunday, just like clockwork, I'm going to church and I'm noticing things. Because when I'm coming out of church, we're going to these families' houses. Every Sunday we'd go someplace different. I had to come after Sunday school, but I'd go and they'd have coffee and whatever. I don't drink coffee, never have. But I'd go just to talk to people. And that only lasted a couple of weeks because these people that were so churchified, oh, they believed in God. They had to be there. They sit there and they're in the sermon like this. You know what I mean? They're the Christians. And then they get in their home with 5 or 6 other couples. And man, they are taking God's name in vain like you wouldn't believe. They're calling people names. They're talking. I mean, there wasn't a safe. If you weren't in that house, but you was in that church that day, you were not safe if you weren't in that house because they were talking. All of them were. And I said, I can't take this. Right after that, I get a letter. Hey, Ralph, we noticed that you put $20 in a kitty. We really need some extra money. This is while I'm raising it, all this money with the Sunday school. What I did for Sunday school is we went to people's houses, every house in Buckingham and Hershire, and we knocked on doors and we says, what do you do with your pennies? And they said, why? He says, well, church needs a new roof. We need books for this thing. If you just keep your pennies, we'll come back in 30 days and we'll get them. And everybody thought it was great. But see, the great thing about people is when they think you're doing something really, really good, and it isn't going to cost them really much, they started throwing not just their pennies in their container, but their nickels and their dimes and their quarters. Our goal was to get enough pennies to make a mile. And we did. Lining a penny up, we did. We got much, much more. But we also got nickels and dimes and quarters. We raised over $8,000 in 1 month doing that. But yet, hey, Ralph, can you raise some more for us? It was all about money. And I never paid attention to it then. But then's when I started talking to God, doing my own way of affiliating with God and Jesus Christ. And I'm not saying I'm doing it right, but I'm not going to go and give my money to people who don't care, to people who leave church and want to call and put God's name in vain, and I'm not going to do that. So let's see what Restored Republic has to say. And here's something that I remembered I got. Inside a secure Nevada base, the first special bed units went live. Soldiers with terminal cancer walked out hours later, restored, reborn. The HATS Medical Command confirmed the era of sickness is over. Yes, I do have right here, as you can see this gentleman right there. That's the video on the beds.
Oh, by the way, Abby just sent me a message. Test results are back. I have severe ARTEN IAL disease. Arternal.
So, guys, Ron was just reading to me. Our friend Abby, her test results are back, and she does have the disease that I had told you about. Some ARTEN and then some other big word behind it. Let's keep her in our prayers.
She's got a doctor's appointment the 18th.
Let's keep her in our prayers. Dear Lord, please look after Abby, who just found out the information, and what she expected, Lord, but what she was hoping it wouldn't be. And Lord, we know that you're going to be by her side and keep angels on her shoulders to pull her through this.
Thank you.
But let's bring all our people, all our family together praying for her. Let's pray for these special beds. So as these soldiers just did with terminal cancer, walked out 100% healed. So Lord, when people are in such desperate need of these special pieces of equipment that you've provided us, it's time they come out of the shadows. It's time they come out to the world and save this young, beautiful woman, along with many, many millions of others who need them so desperately. As we come to you and pray to you through our Savior, your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen and amen. So that wasn't the news I was hoping for. I was really praying that she was not going to have it, but
Just hope we get the bed.
we hope and pray. She has a doctor's appointment on the 18th, and I will be talking to her as soon as I can to see what we can do for encouragement for her and to help her. Hi, Tony. Hey, John finally made it.
Yeah, John's here.
Oh, Betty, I was just about ready to ask the old boy where you were, but you made it. Better late than never, right? You might have been on all day. I don't know. There we go, Janet. Thank you, Janet. Thank you very much. You know, the one thing I can always count on is when we do a prayer that Janet is going to get it out in there too for prayers for who we're praying for. And you know, when I pray like that, I specifically stated that prayer for Abby because of what she's going through. But in truth, when I pray, every one of you is in my mind. You know, when I hear people talking about God and Jesus Christ and how blessed they are, and then they go out and they take their name in vain, I just want to go up and slap them. But that's not the way to do things. But when I pray for you guys, there's no hidden agenda. It's just pure love for our family here. And you know, if for those of you that don't know Abby, she is very flamboyant in the way that on the weekends, she's not going to sit in front of the boob tube. She's going to be out. She loves concerts. She loves concerts.
Yeah, but her job now doesn't. She can't go to too many.
But Ron's saying the job she has now, she can't go to as many. But, you know, I mean, this is a lady that she'd have gone to a concert 7 days a week if she could. Myself, personally, I like them, but I want to have some when we get our money because, you know, but I don't, you know, I was doing some research on people, and I did some on Carrie Underwood. And she just had a sold out concert in California. You know, sold out. The most expensive ticket was $10,000. Then they had some in $5,000. Then they had some in $2,000, $1,000. The cheapest ticket you could get, which would be you was probably a mile away, was $80. So I belong to one of her fan pages on Facebook, which is a site that's probably fake anyway. And I go in there and I said, tell me this. It's always, you guys, have you ever noticed that the other one that just got engaged to that football player, these people like this, it's always about the money. But then you take someone who really sings country western, like Shania Twain, who sings country western. I'm sorry. I listen to some of these people. I can't understand a thing they're saying. All they do is they got the outfits out there that shows their body off. They're selling sex on stage. You know, the idea of it. They're getting the guys goo-goo-eyed. Oh, look at her. You know, but $5,000 for a ticket? I talk a lot about my daughter, my son-in-law. Liam, Ella, and the little monkey, Addison. They love music. Liam is such a big Luke Bryan fan. I think that's how you announce his name. But when they go, it's like, man, it's a paycheck, if not more. And I put on this page of this one girl, and I says, why don't you stream your concerts? You're completely sold out. You can't make no more money. But if they would stream it and charge a family $25, even $50, so many people would do it. I said, heck, stream it worldwide. You could probably pick up another 10 million people that would pay $25 to watch you. Now you're really making money. But as smart as they are, they're just as dumb. Now, me, their music is okay. But me, I like that good old rock and roll. I do. I like rock and roll. The late 50s, I don't, someone says, well, you like the 50s? I don't remember the early. I was born in 54. It was announced that Buddy Holly died on my birthday. He died the day before, but it wasn't announced till February 4th. If he died. Okay, this is from Judy Bidington. For today, the 8th. Brunson case exposes biggest fraud in U.S. history. You know what it was about. Stolen this, stolen that, do. I can't say it because I don't want to get in trouble. QFS, GCR, Big N, Big G redemption centers launched. America will never be destroyed from the outside. If we lose our freedoms, it will be because we destroyed ourselves. That comes from President Abraham Lincoln. Judy note on 25th August 2025, Black Swan event in Pragus, the Hat and the BRICS nations launch Big N, Big G. The US, Canada, Europe, Japan, Israel, UK, Taiwan, Australia, and New Zealand could not sustain their debt any longer. So let me get this straight. We launched that, but I still have debt. Elaine, I bet you still have debt. Janet, I bet you still have debt. Tony, Ian, oh, good to see you too. John, do you still have debt? I know Ron does. So if it launched and it's what it said it is, why do we still have debt? Inquiry minds would like to know. On September 1st, the same day that they did something with Cheyenne Mountain Command Center, that same day, the quantum financial system linked payments to citizens, tax abolition, grant-based business assistance, and zero-interest lending. On Saturday, 6 September 2025, Iraq Gazette published the new Iraq dinar rates, $391 to $427, depending on their contract. On Sunday, 7 September 2025, the new Iraq dinar and Vietnamese dong rates became official. On Monday, 8 September 2025, redemption centers launched for Tier 4B. The Internet Group foreign currency exchanges and Zimbon redemptions. Higher contract rates will be offered to those willing to invest in humanitarian projects. Soon, the global emergency broadcast alert will go out to everyone's phone worldwide. 7 trumpets and 7 messages in 72 hours. Now, here's the deal about the emergency broadcast system. And when we go into the 10 days of darkness, in that audio that I told you, Ron sent to me, that I told you we could send to people, in that there, it's a situation where the gentleman does not believe it's going to be a full lockdown. You're not going to be locked down for 10 days. He thinks you'll be able to do things probably during the daytime. They're going to shut workplaces, except for the places like hospitals and where kids are, animal shelters, places that people have to be, they'll be allowed to go. but other places, they don't want people out at nighttime. So he thinks you'll have till 6, maybe 7 o'clock, depending on where you live, to actually do some things. To my knowledge, stores will be closed down and things like that. So make sure you have some food, have some water. If you can't afford the water, like I said, get some jugs and save it. You know, when the EBS activates, all civilian communication systems fall silent. And that's what he was saying. See, a big part of what it's going to be is there will be no more TV. There will be no more radio for that time. There will be no internet. The only thing you're going to get is be able to watch your TV or your computer or your cell phone, 911 calls, or to watch these movies. And please, please, you're going to have, I think they said 5 hours to get home if you're someplace. You're going to have 5 hours to get to where you need to be. So someone like me where I live, when I get that emergency, one of the first things I'm going to do, I'm going to jump in my car and I'm going to run to my daughter's house. I'm going to make sure everybody's safe over there. I'm going to spend about 20 minutes explaining to them what's going on, to not to be worried, to not to be scared. And anybody that you can talk to and explain to, do it. Go to your family. Like me, it's going to be easy. Ron's going to know about it. I'm going to go to my brother Russ's house, my niece's houses. Anybody that will listen to me in this little town, I'm going to let know. Now, I come down and I eat lunch and I have dinner and I watch TV with Ron at his house. That allows my son to be in my house and act like they're a family, having their meals together. But one thing that will change for me is I'll come down for supper. We'll have supper around 5. By 6 o'clock, I'm going to have to go home. It is what it is. You know, it's from what I'm understanding. It's, you know, boom, 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 boom. You know, for so long, we've been told that when this happens, you ain't leaving your house. That ain't going to happen. Because, see, there's too many people that don't know what's going on. And it would just drive people totally nuts. And then it says this will be followed by 10 days of communication darkness. It doesn't say darkness, communication darkness. During the worldwide blackout, Project Odin, which was linked to the Quantum Starlink satellite system, was designed to ensure the security, integrity of our communication, Starlink facilities, and global EBS activation, ensuring that only truth reaches the masses. Worldwide, the internet and ATMs will not work during the 10 days. Worldwide phones will only work for 911 calls, but we can obtain a signal app from the military, which will secure the phones for regular use through the new Starlink satellite system and quantum computer. Worldwide, on TV and radios, the EBS will play 8-hour documentaries 3 times a day for 10 days called the 10 Days of Communication Darkness, all of which was expected to cause the financial markets to go into a free fall and the riots to start in the streets as sleepers awake to the reality that they cannot comprehend. After 10 days of communication darkness, all phones, TVs, radios, and computers worldwide will be connected to the new quantum internet, run the secure Starlink system. Telsa-free energy from Earth's magnetic field will replace existing power grids. The hat has already triggered the end of the federal income tax and states activate sovereign wealth reserve. Death of the IRS means XRP rails in a people's banking system, while globalists schemed with CBDCs. Patriots built a decentralized shield of zero /3% APR home, car loans, anonymous savings outside big banks, business credit, independent of Wall Street. The state's sovereign wealth reserve targets, the deep state's blade, property tax, federal income tax, capital gains tax, a new system of credit unions, and XRP blockchains, rails was already rolling out where the value flows back to the citizens through tax-free dividends accounts, a dividend dollar with 3% annual yield, and state-controlled wealth inside a credit union network. A 50-state banking independence from the Fed power returns to the states and the people. Every American owns a share of this nation. The IRS doesn't own you, you own America. Come from the Hat, August 2025. All people of the world will be called into redemption centers where we will receive the big N, big G payments, can exchange and redeem our currency, and Zim to set up secure bank accounts identified by our own body rhythms. Through the new quantum systems, banks will no longer have access to our monies. The only way to receive those assets will be through the official Big N, Big G system redemption centers. Banks were not authorized to redeem Zim and would give you a lower rate on your currency exchange. Official Big N, Big G redemption centers were also the place where everyone will go to receive a new phone, which you will use to activate your personal money accounts on the new Starlink system. Banks will no longer be handling your money. On Thursday, 11 September 2025, complete disclosure of the evidence of the cabal's evil deeds will begin to flow. On January 1, 2026, the old financial system will be dead and the US dollar and euro collapse. Corrupt banks will be gone, mortgages, loans, credit cards will be released. President the Hat and JFK Jr. will emerge as the leaders of this new world along with the restoration of common law. The present maritime law slavery will end as long, okay, when they just said that on that date that the Hat and Junior will emerge as the two leaders, what they're saying here, and what I got this from is the gentleman answering the questions here tonight. The Hat is going to disappear. He's not going to die. So whatever anybody tells you, he's not going to die. But in January, he's coming back along with Junior. So when you hear all of this, who's going to run in 2028? Pitch it out the window. It's not worth the manure that they had to take the shovel and clean it up. I'm telling you, it's, we are right there. And I mean, for not having much today, for coming on, Judy pulled me through. She did a great job. I thought that was the most informative thing that she's had in a long, long time. I didn't need Bruce in the little call. I didn't need, Mark Z and his, hey, I'll answer your question if you pay me money. I didn't need someone to tell me about these special beds. This is all there. Guys, the beds are in line. They're ready to go. Everything is line. It's ready to go. It's a matter of when they pull the switch. Is it going to be this week? Is it going to be next? Look at it this way. John, Jeffrey, Janet. Ooh, the 3 J's. Oh, Tony. That's a T. I guess we'll have to call you Joni. Just joking. Just remember, it only has to go one time. Everybody here, it only has to go one time. It don't have to go 5, 10, 15. Also heard the other day that if Iraq keeps playing games, Iraq does not have to be in the first basket. If they choose that they want to hold back, we're still going to get her done. I could care less if Iraq's in it. I don't have that much. But boy, I'm rooting for Venezuela and Vietnam. And when you go, Now, I hope everybody heard what I said, because I know Myrna comes on a lot of the shows, and Myrna never bought no currency. And that was her decision. I honored it. I tried to get her a couple times, and she told me no, she didn't want it. Fine. We'll take care of you, Myrna. But see, when it comes down to it, nobody in the United States and the world is going to have to be taken care of. Everybody's going to get. You're going to get a tremendous lot. And when they say, well, they're going to give you 2 million, we've heard 2 million, 4 million, 14 million. Let's put it this way. They're going to give you more that even when we get on the beds, even when we live to where we can have conversations with our great grandchildren. You know, even when we live that long, unless you do something really, really off, you're still going to be able to live better than you've ever dreamed of living. Now, one question that was asked to this gentleman the other day: is AI going to take over all the jobs in the United States? And the man actually, this is a very serious man that does this. He laughed and he said, no. He says, as a matter of fact, the jobs that will be created, we're going to be having to have the people work. He really believes, and I'm pretty sure what I'm about to say, I'm right on this. If I made a mistake, I apologize in advance. But he really believes that very soon the retirement age will be Michael Jordan's number when he played baseball with the Chicago White Sox. And for those that you don't know that, it was number 45. He believes that's going to be the retirement age. So from 18 to 45, you're going to work. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm looking forward to the humanitarian projects. I'm looking forward to getting out and working, being a boss, but working. Because being a boss is not like, you know, you got people out there now that they're in management and it goes to their head. Well, I'm in management. You're just a worker. Well, kiss my patoot. That's all I ever was a worker. Turned management positions down on several occasions. I didn't want to. They didn't make no money back then. Now management makes money and the workers don't. Imagine that. Someone that sits on their butts all day long giving orders. They're the ones that make the money now. And that's how the cabal has ruined things. You know, when I was working at Gould Battery and we were making the batteries for the U.S. Navy and other things, I would work a lot of overtime. This was back, they closed the plant down in 2022. And I had stretches when I worked overtime. I was working 12 hours a day, 3 days one week and 4 the next. But I kept working every day because the first day I would work on my day off was 10 hours or 12 hours of time and a half. But every other day after that, when I worked 12 hours, it was 12 hours of double time. And I was making $22 an hour. I was grossing $3,200 by the time Uncle Sam got through with it. By the time they took my stuff out for my 401k, it was nowhere near that. But I was making that. You know, we had people out there working so much overtime on $15 an hour, they made $100,000 1 year. They never seen their family, you know, but it is what it is. But here's the thing. It's not going to be, okay, I'm going to run a program and I'm going to take Janet and I'm going to put Janet in charge of one of my programs and she's going to be the boss. You know what? All she is just someone there to solve the problems. There's not going to be, Jeffrey, you couldn't come in today. Janet's not going to give you trouble. Explain why you couldn't come in and come in the next day. They only want us working about 30 hours a week. You know, so according to this gentleman, there's going to be more jobs than there is now. They're going to be good jobs. People's going to want to go to work. Because let's face it, if you just sit at home, I know as a retiree, just sitting at home, it gets boring. It does. And, you know, guys, I hope the show, it wasn't a plan. I didn't have a lot to talk about, but I think I put some stuff in there. I hope I opened some people's eyes and I hope you enjoyed it. And I mean, we went an hour and 10 minutes. So with that being said, have a great day. We'll be back Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. Let's hope and pray that maybe we don't do a show Wednesday night. Let's hope we do a special show before. And for all of you that love me the way you love me and Ron, root for the Bears tonight. Go Bears. Talk to you Wednesday night, if not before. Love yous all.